Splatoon has been around for a long while now, being released all the way back in 2015, which may not feel like that long ago, but open up a calendar and you'd be damn surprised. With that and its relative worldwide success, Splatoon has become a mainstay Nintendo franchise, alongside one of its most crossovered series, slash collabs, slash whatever the hell you want to call it. Obviously, Super Smash Bros. Is the winner by a long shot, even having Splatoon representation in it, and Mario and Zelda have a few crossovers and loads of cameos. But Splatoon, at least to me, has some of the most interesting and, well, oddly lackluster crossovers in all of Nintendo history. But it's a fun conversation point nonetheless. You'll be the life of the parties as you tell everyone that Splatoon characters love Nikes. That'll make you popular. Or more realistically, confuse everyone as to what the hell a Splatoon is. Also, I'm not going through all the crossovers here. This is not a comprehensive list, just a list of the ones I deem the most interesting. With that out of the way, let's begin with Splatoon 1. Surprisingly, Splatoon 1 actually started the trend with a crossover almost right out the gate, having a crossover with Shinryaku Aiki Amuzume.
Shinryaku Aiki Amuzume.
Otherwise known as Squid Girl. I prefer calling it Squid Girl. A relatively popular manga and anime series by the same name serialized in 2007 with an anime adaptation in 2010, featuring a blue-haired squid girl by the name Aiki Amuse, who plans on invading Earth due to their constant pollution of the sea. Yet, due to her ineptitude, ends up becoming a waitress at a beachside restaurant to pay off damages she did to their wall. She's, not the smartest squid around. And of course, this was an absolutely perfect crossover, and being the first one kinda set a high expectation with a ton of custom art from the series creator and others, alongside new clothes to wear in the game based on the character. Sadly, they didn't do a Splatfest for them, but I feel that makes sense as the series was popular enough, but still probably too niche for that to be worthwhile. So it kinda makes sense in that regard, and the outfits are super cute and very accurate to the series, so I'm happy with just having them if anything. When you look at it closer, this was kind of an odd crossover in a lot of ways, but at the same time made way too much sense. I mean, colorful squids, ink, murder, the gang's all here. Funny enough, besides Pokemon and Digimon, Squid Girl was one of the first animes I ever watched as a kid. And well, I think it had an impact on me to some degree, as I am currently talking about it over 10 years later and how it relates to a completely different squid-based piece of media. A little fun fact for you all. Now that I think about it, I actually haven't seen this series since I was a kid, so if you guys want it, leave a comment below telling me if I should revisit it for the channel. Regardless, back to the topic at hand. Squid Girl was sadly the first and only crossovers to actually do unique gear for the game. Not counting Splatfest tees or smaller things like, I don't know, Nintendo shoes, which doesn't even count because it's not a crossover. They own that line makes no sense. Why did I leave that in the script? Which is massively disappointing, but in a way, I get it. It was probably not very plausible for a lot of these crossovers or collabs, but still, it would have been so damn cool. For our next wild crossover, we got Transformers. First off, I have a lot of questions, like if they know about Transformers, what other shows do they have? And is Finding Nemo considered a Greek tragedy? So Splatoon and Nickelodeon has this weird buddy-buddy relationship, and from here on, we'll see that a good 70% of these crossovers happen to promote some sort of Nick property. In this case, of course, Transformers, with a Splatfest consisting of Autobots versus Decepticons, with Callie siding with the Autobots and Marie with the Decepticons, with Decepticons winning in the end. Unsurprisingly, the other most common type of crossover is other Nintendo-published properties, which of course, makes too much sense, but at the same time is kinda just whatever. But we gotta touch upon a few of them for the sake of being thorough. The first of which being Pokemon Red versus Blue, potentially being a promotion for these versions of the game to come to the 3DS for Pokemon's 20th anniversary. Oh yeah, Callie picked Red and Marie picked Blue. Marie won, what a surprise. Next up, the second most fitting crossover, SpongeBob versus Patrick, which is so damn funny and just reinforces my former question, what do they think of these shows? Is SpongeBob considered history? These questions need to be answered. I need to know if SpongeBob and Carl Benz share a place in the history books. This is urgent. Cut that out, that was dumb. Honestly, there's quite a few parallels you can pull between Nick and Splatoon, with Nick's Neon Slime and Obstacle Course-esque game shows, or at least when they used to do those. Either way, Callie chose SpongeBob and Marie chose Patrick, and guess who fucking won? Callie! Wrong! Lastly, for Splatoon 1 was a Miitomo crossover, but I don't really care about that one, like at all. I do miss Tomodachi Life though. For Splatoon 2, I'm going to start with the European and global Splatfest, and leave the Japanese exclusive ones for the end, as they are arguably the most interesting and odd of the bunch. To start off, another Nick Splatfest with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to promote the rise of the TMNT. The most notable aspect of the Splatfest to me was how it was actually several Splatfests, with it being a competition of sorts with a 3-round Splatfest. The first round being Ralph vs. Leo, with Ralph winning and moving on, then Mikey vs. Donnie, with Donnie moving on, and finally it all concluded with Ralph vs. Donnie, with Donnie winning the whole thing. I mostly brought this one up due to the weird but pretty unique and fun way it was all done. I kind of wish we'd do these more often, but I see why they don't happen often. It just kind of sounds exhausting at that point. I think I'd be splatfested out. Then there was a fun Super Smash Bros. Splatfest in celebration of Smash Ultimate with heroes versus villains, with Pearl rooting for the heroes and Marina for the villains, which feels pretty in character. I've always seen Pearl as the Marvel type and Marina as the horror/supervillain loving type. Marina is truly one after my own heart. And it seems people agree with her, as villains ended up winning in the end. There was also a Mario Splatfest with Mushrooms vs. Stars, but that's mostly notable for being the last Splatoon 2 Splatfest worldwide for Mario's 35th anniversary. Okay, the weird McDonald's. You heard me. I didn't know high cholesterol and pending heart attacks were so popular in Japan, but I guess I was wrong. As the first exclusive Splatfest in Japan was Fries vs. Nuggets, which is technically more of a collab because McDonald's also gave away Splatoon coloring books in their Happy Meals at this time. But like, that's semantics, who cares? It's funny, I had to mention it. Man, I have said insert thing is funny too many times this video. This video is chaos. In the end, Pearl ended up going for fries and Marina for the nuggets, with nuggets winning, which I mean makes sense. Look, I love me some french fries, but nuggets, that's the actual meal part of the meal, you know, it's gonna fill you up more. That makes sense to me. This collab I find especially odd. Beyond the fact that McDonald's is a part of Splatoon canon now, I actually find the exclusivity the weirdest part. Even if they didn't do the Happy Meals worldwide, I find it hard to believe that this wouldn't have made sense for a global Splatfest, but I'm sure they have their reasons. Next up is Nikes versus Nikes, because Adidas was off that weekend. Yeah, so it seems that Nike sponsored a Japanese exclusive Splatfest to promote their newest Air Maxes, with it being newest versus most popular, Pearl going for the newest and Marina for the most popular, with most popular winning. I wonder why! Really? You couldn't have seen that one coming? This one is just so damn strange. I feel like their advertising budget could have been better spent, but it's funny, so I'm kinda glad it happened either way. Hello Kitty. I guess this one kind of makes sense as a Japanese exclusive. Sure, Hello Kitty is popular enough worldwide, but it is definitely the most popular in Japan. So I completely understand this one. Once again, they did the tournament like Splatfest with rounds of sorts, being Hello Kitty versus Cinnamon Roll, then My Melody versus Pom Pom Puring. Then finally, Hello Kitty versus My Melody, with My Melody winning. I am regretting putting all these stats into this video because this is getting a tad repetitive. Too late now though, we're almost done with Splatfest, so And that's kind of all of Splatoon 2's most interesting crossovers. There were 2 Candy Splatfest exclusive to Japan, which are neat, but until I get right Twix versus left Twix, my interest will stay stagnant. And I guess since we have triple Splatfest now, we gotta add diagonal Twix, or ambidextrous Twix. That joke was funnier in my head. I don't even think that classifies as a joke. I don't know what the hell that was. Splatoon 3 is still very much in its Splatfest Peach Fuzz era.
Hey Garden, I was checking your script and you realize Splatoon 3 has been out for a while now, right?
Alrighty? Jeez. Also, way to date the video.
Just doing my job.
It's not a job. I don't pay you to look over my script. You volunteered.
Oh my gosh, you're so difficult. Just change the damn intro to this section.
Okay, well, whatever. I guess Splatoon 3 already has had quite a few Splatfests, but even then, with that in mind, there's not that many crossovers yet. There was a Pokemon crossover to promote the launch of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, with Grass versus Fire versus Water, with Water winning. However, we've seen Pokemon Splatfest before, so that's nothing all too unique. To me, the cooler of the 2 crossovers so far is the Zelda Splatfest, meant to promote Tears of the Kingdom, with Power versus Wisdom versus Courage, with Power winning. And well, that's really all we have so far in terms of Splatoon 3. But that'd be a lame as hell way to end a video, so now let's take a look at some other games with Splatoon content or crossovers that is just a little weird. To start, one of the first ever Splatoon crossovers, if you want to call it that, was with Style Savvy Fashion Forward, or Girls Mode 3. Or Style Boutique. I don't know why, but it's called like 3 different things depending on your region. Regardless, this was a 3DS game released in 2015 that sees you doing all types of fashion-based activities, including of course creating outfits, some of which you may have guessed being Splatoon themed. Why this random 3DS game got Splatoon clothing in it, I don't have the slightest clue, but apparently Splatoon and Style Savvy crossovers were in high demand in 2015. Next up we have Yoshi's Woolly World, where you're able to acquire tons of unlockable outfits, including some amiibo Splatoon outfits, which isn't that weird because a crossover / cameo or whatnot in another Nintendo game isn't that interesting, but I just wanted to share how damn fugly these little guys are, and I just want to squish their little cheeks, but also squish them into Yoshi Yarn Putty. Here's a fun one. For Splatoon 2, there was a collaborative ad with the Cartoon Network show We Bare Bears, seeing the 3 bears in a basketball court playing some Splatoon 2 in handheld mode, which is just the worst damn way to play that game. But even then, for this advert, it's a really nice way to show the potential fun of the Switch's portability. Man, there's a lot more Splatoon and Insert Cartoon Show collabs than I ever imagined. But hey, it's pretty cool all things considered. Transformic is a weird game. Seems to be some sort of online puzzle game, seeing a bunch of mice trying to reach a piece of cheese, through helping each other make gadgets, bridges, or whatnot to get there. And for some reason, there's Splatoon cosmetics. Actually, this game has an insane amount of branded cosmetics. Though, that being said, I couldn't find out if this was officially endorsed by Nintendo, so as to if it's a proper crossover, I'm not 100% sure. Strange nonetheless, and, well, kind of adorable. Jump Rope Challenge is a weird little freeware game made by Nintendo, where you, well, jump, or at least pretend to by motioning so with the Joy-Cons. This game isn't much, but it's cute and has a bunch of skins based off Nintendo mascots. Since this is a Nintendo game technically, it's not that weird as I've said before, but it is such a weird release in general, I just wanted to at least mention it. Apparently it was made to help encourage people to stay active during COVID quarantines, and I really admire that, to be honest. And that's really it. Though there was a lot I skipped over, being a lot of just small cameos, rhythm games, and or Nintendo crossovers, which are interesting for sure, but not inherently bizarre. Though I'd be remiss to not at least mention the awesome inclusion of Inklings in both Mario Kart 8 and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I can't say those are weird, but they are absolutely amazing inclusions, and I want them here as an honorable mention, if you will. And there we go! A bunch of weird Splatoon is such an oddity, and I love that about it. It is uniquely unusual in the way it goes about basically everything, and it's just wonderful. Either way, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to do the YouTube thing and like, comment, and subscribe. Also, maybe throw me a follow on Twitter. I want to start building that account so I can force Makeshift to turn me into a marketable plush. That is my ultimate YouTube goal. Also, maybe get 100k one day, if that's even possible. I think that might be a bit overreaching, but if I ever get there, I'll let you guys decide on a tattoo for me. Yeah, there you go. Something to motivate everyone, and something for me to regret later in life. Okay, this outro's still on. Bye!